Now, all of this, what we hear from this police officer we're going to be talking to at the end of the program, all of this is not a game. It's not a political game. It's not a Simon Says game. When Obama talks about being a dictator, when he talks about using the executive order, we need to take that very seriously. And unfortunately, there's only a handful of congressmen, people in the legislative branch, congressmen and senators who do take this seriously. One of them is Mike Lee, and he confronted Eric Holder today and asked him about what authority he had for these executive orders. And Holder said he couldn't explain the constitutional basis for the executive orders because he hasn't read the legal analysis, or at least hasn't seen it in a long time. Now look at this article before we go to the sound clip. Lee had based his questions on a standard legal test, and this is something that came from a Supreme Court decision where Judge Robert Jackson said the president's authority to issue executive orders is strongest, and he lays out 3 points. He said, number one, when he's acting with the backing of Congress. In other words, when he's following a law that Congress has put out. It's more dubious, he says, if he issues an order pertaining to a topic on which Congress has not passed a law, and it's weakest when the executive order is, quote, incompatible with a congressional command. And of course, we're seeing that over and over again. That's precisely the point that Obama says he wants to make these executive orders, because he doesn't want to listen to Congress or wait on Congress or wait for the laws to be passed as they are prescribed to be passed in the Constitution. Here's that clip.
So in which of those 3 categories would you put the president's decision to delay the enforcement of the employer mandate? Is that category 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I have not seen. I don't remember looking at or haven't seen the analysis in some time. So I'm not sure where along the spectrum that would come.
How about the executive order that he proposed last night with regard to minimum wage? Would that be category 1, category 2, or category 3?
Well, again, without having delved into this to any great degree, that was.
But you're the Attorney General. I assume he consulted you.
Well,
it's imperative within our constitutional system that we not allow too much authority to be accumulated in one person. And it's one of the reasons why we have a constitution is to protect us against the excessive accumulation of power.
Well, as he pointed out, you're the Attorney General, but of course we all know that Eric Holder is an Attorney General who, if he enforces a law at all, he enforces it very, very selectively. He could care less what the law is, and neither could Obama. Now, finally, just before we go to the break, we've got one more story. The EU has secret plans for the police to remotely stop cars. Now, this is something that is very dangerous. This is part of the ongoing, what I would call the war on drivers. This is confidential documents from a committee of senior EU police officers who hold their meetings in secret, and they have laid out a plan entitled Remote Stopping Vehicles as part of law enforcement surveillance and tracking measures. This is a technological solution that they're calling for to be put in all new cars by the end of the decade. And this document was released by an organization called State Watch, a watchdog monitoring police powers, state surveillance, and civil liberties in the EU. They've leaked the document because they're concerned that the technology poses a serious threat to civil liberties. Boy, does it ever. It poses a serious threat to us all. As I said, it's like a war on drivers. We've got the black box, which is going to be used to tax us by the mile. It's going to be used to automatically give us tickets. We see as they're rolling in these self-driving cars that they're also going to be raising insurance rates for people who want to drive themselves. We can see all of this happening. Alex Jones has been talking about how the government is going to remotely be able to stop your car anytime they wish. They've got currency controls, they've got border controls, they're going to control your travel everywhere. That's what the TSA is about, and it's why we have to rein in this lawless agency that is flaunting their police powers in our face and in the face of our constitutional police, and that's who we're going to be talking to at the end of the program. But I'm going to end this with one quote from a conservative MP. He said, "The price we pay for surrendering our democratic sovereignty is that we are governed by an unaccountable secret clique." And that's exactly what we're seeing. We've got secret courts in the U.S. with FISA. We don't even know what they're deciding. We're not allowed to see their decisions, but they maintain that their secret court decisions are not only valid, but that they go to the extent of modifying our Constitution. Nothing could be farther from the truth.
Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, You in Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com.